everyone. Father Jared coming to you. And a gospel passage that just always kind of cuts me to the heart that I have loved for a long time is the story of the blind Bartimaeus, the blind man outside of Jericho, who, upon hearing that Jesus is leaving Jericho to head up to Jerusalem, cries out, "Son of David, have pity on me. Son of David, have pity on me." And he keeps on crying this out. And people try to hush him up, tell him to be quiet, to leave the master alone. But then finally Jesus says to those around him, "Call him." And somebody says to the blind man, "Take heart, for the master is calling you." And then Bartimaeus gets up and throws off his cloak. And Jesus asks him, "What do you wish?" "Master, I wish to receive my sight." And then he follows him along the way. I love that line that the person says to Bartimaeus, "Take heart, for the master is calling you." That line just always gets me because I think it gets to the core of what really our life in Christ is supposed to look like, what our friendships are supposed to look like, what our parishes, what our families are supposed to look like, which is encouragement. And I mean, if you look at the Apostle Paul's letters, St. Paul's letters, you can see so often, yes, like people just can sometimes look at it and be like, he's answering these questions, he's telling them to stop getting themselves circumcised, he's telling them to stop all these behaviors, so on and so forth. But a lot of what Paul is actually doing in all those letters is he is exhorting or encouraging those early Christian communities by telling them to stop certain kinds of behaviors, to stop doing these things, by teaching them about the reality of what Christ has done for us on the cross. He is encouraging them and telling them that it is possible for them to follow the Lord with all their heart, all their soul, and all their mind. He's telling them to take courage that even if they've fallen, even if they've messed up, even if they're not perfect, the Lord, the Master, is still calling them. Take heart, for the Master is calling you. The Lord is still calling each one of us. So often, discouragement comes as a result of the fact that we recognize, I've fallen short in this way. I've sinned in this way. I've messed up. But encouragement is not to stay like no big deal. But instead it is to say, yes, we have fallen short. We are not as much as we should be. But the Lord is still calling us to that, and he still wants to give us his grace. He still reaches out his hands to help us up, to guide us along the way. He has given us the sacraments, especially the Eucharist, especially the sacrament of confession, his Mother Mary, all the saints, their intercession, their prayers, their example, their help, to enable us to live truly sanctified, truly holy, truly saintly lives. Because each one of us is called to that. And I think so often we can get discouraged and we close in on ourselves. We don't share our discouragement. We don't share our frustrations, our fears. But the Lord, the saints, their family members, with those friends who are closest to us. And instead we simply allow discouragement to eat us up inside. And we stop trying. We stop trying to pray. That is, talk with the Lord. We stop trying to seek his heart. We stop trying to do better, to change. And we just grow in discouragement and we just stay stuck. And when that happens, things don't get better. That's always the funny thing, is that discouragement basically just tells us to stay put because we can't ever get there. The ironic thing about that is then we sink. We inevitably fall back further and further. However, if we keep trying again and again, because again, one of my favorite lines are by a saint who, again, is actually a saint who's both very challenging at one time and very encouraging on the other hand, and actually brings both of them always together, seemingly in like the same sentence, the same quote. But St. Josemaria Escrivá said, a saint is a sinner who keeps trying. And so we need to keep trying, to keep getting up, to keep encouraging one another. There are times where we're going to fail. There are going to be times where you're discouraged, where it doesn't feel like God's talking to you. Those are the times to take heart, to take courage, to be encouraged, and also to encourage those around you. I think that's such an important thing for us to do as community. If you hear somebody that's discouraged, if you hear somebody that's doubtful about whether or not they can live a truly sanctified life, give them encouragement, give them strength, give them hope. Because ultimately, encouragement is about hope. It's about love. It's about true faith. Faith, hope, and love. All of them are contained within encouragement. Each and every one of them enable us to experience, what do I want to say? Help us to experience the goodness of God through others, but also through the act of prayer and trusting that the Lord does love us, because he does. Even though sometimes we can feel as though he doesn't seem to be present. But he's always there, so always take heart, for indeed the Master is calling you.